Welcome to the Blue Basement, Mr. Lewis. We are so happy to have you today on our show with your lovely daughter, Josie.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a wonderful day.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, I know that it's gonna be a glorious day,
Okay.
between you and your daughter,
Yes.
because we are here to talk about. You know why we are here, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, good. So, relax.
Yeah, I know.
Feel free,
Yes.
relax, and everything that you need to say.
Okay.
Feel free to say them. Pour out your heart.
Okay.
Yes, let us know as we move along what happened, so that we can be able to, forgive one another and move on with love and peace. Right?
That's true.
Yes, so that's why we're here. Josie, good to always. You're part of the show. So.
I feel like I'm in the hot seat now.
No, just calm down. Not a lot of people have the nerve, the courage to be on this type of show to redress issues and make everything lovely and peaceful once more. So this is your father, right?
Yes,
Okay.
my father.
And the first question I want to ask is this: were you in your daughter's life until she grew up to become an adult?
At the beginning, I was, but because, she was born in Haiti. I was in Haiti too.
Yeah.
And then she was born after 1 year. I have to leave Haiti to move to United States. So I used to do back and forth, and then to go see her, to go see my family over there. But after a while, it looked like some kind of incident. I call that incident happened because it was a disconnection after a couple of years. I came here between me and her, and then she moved from Haiti to Florida. But me, I used to live in New York.
At what age did you leave Haiti? When she was small?
Yeah, she was small. She was only 1 year old.
She was about 1 year old?
1 year old.
I thought I was two.
No,
One.
Okay, 1 year.
1 year old.
Then that was when you left Haiti.
When I left Haiti to the States.
And did you go back to Haiti?
Back and forth.
Back and forth. Like, how many times did you go back to Haiti?
Many. I cannot count. Many times.
Many times.
Yeah, because 1 year I usually went about 3-4 times.
Okay.
But when she came, she was about 12 years old.
When I came here,
When
Yeah.
you came,
10.
You were 10.
Yeah.
Okay, 10 years old.
Yeah,
Okay.
10 years old. And then, but I was in New York, and then she used to live in Florida with her mom.
But do you think before she got to 10 years old, before she became 10 years old, were you in her life fully?
Yes, because when I went over there, we spent time together. By the time being in Haiti, before I come back, I always be with her.
So what do you think about the relationship then from when you were 1 year old, when he moved to the States?
To the States.
And by the time you moved back here too, you were 10 years old, right?
When I moved here, yeah. I have one recollection where I don't know how old I was. I might have been like 5. I don't know. I really don't know. But I do have a recollection. One day I was on the balcony. I was standing on the balcony, and I used to suck my index finger.
Yeah.
And I was just sucking my finger, watching people pass by.
Yeah.
And then I saw this really tall guy. It was my dad. I recognized him right away. Very tall. He had on a black turtleneck, chain, yellow chain around his neck. And he was walking on, like, as I'm on the balcony, I'm watching him, looking down at him, walking downstairs, coming up to our home.
Yes.
And my mom was, I think, in the kitchen or something cooking, and I ran to my mom and I was like, Mom, Dad is here, Papa's here. And she was like, you don't know what you're talking about.
How old were you then?
I don't know. I think I might have been like 5 years old.
Yeah, between 4 and 5.
4 and 5,
Okay.
right?
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yes.
And so she was like, you don't know what you're talking about, because I guess he surprised us. She didn't know he was coming.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't expecting him. And I was like, I'm telling you, my dad is here. And then he came up, and I just remember like just being filled with joy and just so happy, because it's like the first, I don't even know how I remembered or how I recognized him.
Yeah.
Because I was so a baby when he left. Perhaps pictures.
Yes.
Perhaps after, because we
Yes.
had pictures of him in our
They call
house.
that blood connection.
Blood connection.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay.
Yeah, because I recognized him immediately. And he came, and I remember I was just so happy, and he spent the night with us. And then the next morning he woke up, because we lived in the city in Haiti. And the next morning he woke up really early to go to the countryside, to the village, to go visit my grandfather.
Yeah.
Like, I remember that.
Yeah.
And then the other recollection that I have, my mom, after a few years, she ended up traveling and coming to the US. And there was another time that I saw my dad. At the time, I was with my mother's godmother, was who she initially left me with when she left Haiti. And so I lived with her, and then my dad came to Haiti to visit, and I saw him. And then the next time that I would see him was here in the States after I came, like a year
But you
after I
think, you
came.
think before you came to the States, your relationship with your dad was cordial? It was smooth?
Yes, we used to live in the same house before I moved to United
No,
States.
before she moved.
No, he's saying before I moved.
Yeah, before she moved.
Well, we didn't really speak. We didn't really talk.
But
like
he was taking care of you. He was in the States.
Yes.
he was
right?
in the States.
But he was taking care from afar.
Yes.
I don't know who was taking care of me.
Okay.
It was between him, my mom,
You know, but sometimes your mom will tell you, like, your dad bought you some things from the States, and for example, send them down to Haiti.
Well,
and
I
stuff
know
like that.
after he left, I know he definitely like housing for us. Like he
Yeah,
took care of that.
exactly.
Yeah, housing for us. He took care of that. I was in private school. I don't know if it was him or my mom. I do know that after he came to visit in the US, when I lived in Florida, I was around 11, 12 years old. I remember him telling me, I've always loved you. Even if the communication is what it is, the lack of communication, I've always loved you. I think about you all the time. And he's like, I have receipts of, things
Money transfer.
money
Yeah,
transfers.
exactly.
I have
To
receipts
take
of like
care of you.
money
Yeah.
transfers that I've contributed. I think, a lot of times because his relationship with my mom, they were together. And then when my dad came to the States, you came at what, 30 years old?
Yes.
Such a young man,
Yeah.
when he came, the relationship went awry and they separated for whatever reason, you know how things go. So you don't know. There's hurt there's anger, there's pain, there's
hold on.
resentment.
But when you moved to the States at the age of 10, right? Did you see him on any occasion?
Yeah, when I came, he came to visit me like a year later.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Florida. I
Yeah.
was in
You were living with your mom?
I was in middle school at the time, yes.
You were
I
living
lived
with
with
your
my
mom?
mom,
Yeah.
yes.
But you're
And
not
he
living
came
with
to
your
visit
dad,
me.
just
I was
your
not
mom?
living with my dad, just my mom.
Because I was in New York.
He was
they
in New
were
York.
Florida.
Yeah. Now I'm finding out as an adult, right? I'm finding out that during that time, he was actually advocating and asking my mom to move with him to New York after I came.
Yeah.
That he wanted to, like, I guess, put his family back together.
Yeah.
But my mother's family wouldn't allow it. They wouldn't allow it. She had an aunt who was responsible for bringing her here.
Okay.
And so they were not a fan of the idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wanted your wife to move down to New York,
To New York,
to
yes.
be with you, so
But-
that you can be with your family, right?
Exactly, but she was controlling by her family.
Okay, now,
But they stopped that.
did you try to consider like moving to Florida to be with them, since she couldn't, move to New York, because for this, in everything we do, family first, right?
Yes.
Yes. You are not the only one in this kind of situation. People have been in this kind of situation, and some people, what they did was to kind of, change their mind and say, okay, since you're not moving back you don't want to move to New York, I can move down to Florida to be with my family, right? So did you put that kind of consideration?
Yeah, the reason it wasn't easy for me to move from New York to Florida because at this time I had a job in New York, and it was to me it was a good job, and then I was in school, so it was hard for me to leave my job and the school and then to move back to Florida to restart again.
Do
So
you think the school or the job is more important than your family?
No, I don't say that. I don't say that, but it was really hard for me. And then, to me, I never regret it. I did not move too because her mom family get control of her.
Yeah.
So no matter what, even I move to Florida, to me, it's going to be some kind of job.
A challenge, drama, yeah.
By her family controlling and stuff like that.
But when you were living in New York and your daughter and
In Florida.
your wife were in Florida, was your relationship with your wife
No.
good?
No,
It wasn't good.
it wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
They had already separated.
Okay.
Yeah, the separation
Started
had
when?
already happened. It really happened while she was in Haiti. Before she even moved here, they separated.
So when
They
do you
weren't
think-
together.
At what time do you think, what age was she when you separated from the mom?
What age she?
She was,
at
yeah.
this
When
time?
when you and your wife, separated.
Maybe about 10.
About 10.
About 9 to 10. From 9 to 10. Stuff like that.
Can you give us a little bit of, don't go into full detail, but do you think is the distance that caused the problem between you and your wife, your ex-wife? Was it the distance?
Yeah, it was some personal issue, stuff like that. So came and then that caused some kind of drama, and then everybody moved away, stuff like that.
Yeah, they went their separate ways.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, moving on from that, I saw him, I was in middle school, and then I saw him again, I was in high school. And the last time that I saw him, which was around 2005?
No, 2002 or 1. 2005.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the last time.
The last time.
time.
2005.
He came to visit me, and also bought a phone because he was like, I'm gonna buy you a phone so I can have direct contact with you.
Exactly,
Bought me a cell phone, so we can keep in touch. And he went to Haiti.
Yeah.
From Florida, he went to straight to Haiti. And after he got to Haiti, I remember calling, and it was around the same time he said, "You also have a little sister now. I want you to, build a relationship." She was only 3 years old. So he gave me the number to the house in New York for me to be able to call my little sister and, build a bond or whatever.
So he was making effort for you to be in constant communication with
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Okay, good.
And so when he went to Haiti, I had been calling.
Yeah.
I couldn't get in touch with him.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was, might have been a signal issue.
Not Sango, because the number here will not work in Haiti.
Yeah, or maybe I was
So when I
calling the
come
wrong
back, I have
number.
to have a new number.
Yeah.
This is that caused the problem.
Yeah.
Because when I went to Haiti, the US number, so I don't have it anymore because I stay a couple of months in Haiti.
Yeah.
When before I came back, the number was disconnected.
Yeah.
So I have to get a new number. When I tried to contact her, it looked like she changed number also. It was the problem.
I disconnected my number.
Yes.
Because with me trying to contact him,
was the real
not
problem.
being able to contact him, I was really affected because to me it was a lack of consistency. And so I made the decision at 15 years old, I think I was, and said, I rather we don't have anything at all if we're not able to have consistency. Not knowing, whatever was happening at the time. I just knew how I was feeling, how I was impacted. And so I made a decision at that age.
So how long did this take? Like the gap, the communication gap.
So the communication gap happened from 2005 until 2023.
You're not serious.
Yeah. Had not spoken to my dad, seen my dad, nothing from
But
almost 2 decades.
I was suffer from very, very badly about that. I was suffering for disturbing because it wasn't my fault. I tried to get her. I tried to contact everybody to get information how to get contact with her. I have no information. But one thing I did every day, every night, I keep praying God. I ask God to reconnect me with.
That's
the
a long
child of
time.
God. Yes.
2000 and
Yes.
5 till 2023.
that's a long time.
Long time.
Almost 2 decades.
Did
Yeah.
you try to call the mom?
No, I did not have
He
any
didn't.
contact
My mom
with
disconnected
nobody.
the house phone.
The house phone.
At the time, something happened. She got rid of the house phone.
Yeah, it was no way to contact her. Only we go all over the internet to try to get contact with her. Sometimes I drop some message on Facebook just for her to see, to get contact with me.
So there was nobody you could contact.
He was not in contact with
There is
anyone
a
in our
reason.
family. It was only me and my mom.
Her mom come from North Haiti. I come from South Haiti.
Yes.
So it was between my family and her mom family. There is no connection. It was that happened. But I was suffer about that happened so bad, very badly. But one thing I know because I have faith in God. I pray God every day. I say I want to get my relationship back with my daughter. I love so much. I keep praying every day. So until 2023, and then God.
Did you make any effort to reach out to find your dad, or to to know why he couldn't be able to get in touch with you? Did you make any effort?
No, I did not make any effort because I was just so filled with anger and hurt and pain.
Out of assumption that
Out of assumption.
Yes.
Out of assumption that he just didn't care to make the effort and to be consistent. And so out of assumption, yes. And whatever my observations were at the time, I did not make any effort. I figured, as my father, if he doesn't want to be in my life, then how can I go against that?
So did you talk to your mom about his disappearance, or his being in a state of incommunicado with you, the communication gap?
Well, yeah, everybody knew that we weren't in communication.
Did your mother try to make any?
No, she did not. No, because it just felt like, there's just no effort on his part, right? It's how everybody felt.
Yeah, that's how everybody assumed.
Yeah. And so we just accepted it. And my mom just said, I'm going to do my best with you, the best that I can as your mom. I'm never going to abandon you. And so because of that, I felt a duty as well to make sure I carefully navigated my life, to not make any mistakes. I didn't feel like I had any room for mistakes, for error, because I felt like I had to be perfect. To not give a reason in the future for him to say, you know what, I was right for not really, being in her life. Like, look at how she turned out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I worked really, really hard to just be perfect and accomplish things and out of the pain.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't make any effort. I just accepted my reality for what it was.
Okay. So what this whole thing boiled out, because what I can pinpoint from this whole thing is the relationship, the gap in communication, the unhealthy relationship. I wouldn't even say unhealthy.
Yes, it was non-existent.
Yeah, it was the non-existent relationship.
Yeah.
From what I am, understanding, is not totally his fault. Now, I think everything was about assumption.
Yeah, I mean, I moved beyond.
Because this is your father, right? Now, your father migrated to the United States of America, right? And for greener pasture, right?
Yeah.
Like we all did,
Yeah.
And he, on his part, endeavor to, take care of you and be in your life until, you guys stop talking and stop communicating. But from everything that I'm seeing, it wasn't fully your father's fault. Because, like he said, he went to Haiti and the mobile, it wasn't working.
Yeah, disconnected.
It was disconnected. It wasn't working, and you assume that your father doesn't want to talk to you anymore. I don't know why the assumption. I don't know. Maybe you were too young. I don't know. But you assume that he doesn't want to talk to you. He doesn't want to take care of you. And
Well, here's in the mind of a child, right?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So he gives me this number.
Yeah,
He goes to Haiti.
yeah.
I'm calling, and I'm not getting an answer or anything.
So the number here don't work.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
I don't
Yeah.
know. You get
So-
off on the airplane,
Yeah.
so there is no contact, no communication.
Right. So in my
you have to get a
mind,
new number in Haiti.
it's like it's not genuine. There's no consistency.
Yes.
There's no real effort, being made to sustain this.
Yeah.
So okay, I accept.
But she did not know how I was suffering about that
Yeah.
incident.
She wouldn't know.
She did not know.
No, she wouldn't know. Like, nobody knew.
And my whole family keeps searching over the internet
Yeah.
to get her. She's my second child, my first daughter. And
Your
then
first son.
You are my
I'm
my
your
second child, my first daughter.
Yeah.
Because my first child is a boy.
Yeah.
And then he's a Catholic priest.
Yeah.
And then even the priest used the full internet to try to get contact with her. And then the priest tell me one day he's give up because he tell me he did whatever he want to. He all the way he try to get contact with her.
Did you get any message on Facebook or stuff
I
like
didn't
that?
have Facebook.
Oh, you
I
didn't
was
have
not
it?
on
Yeah.
Facebook.
And then my whole family thought she was changing the name. That's why we cannot get contact with her. That's why we thought at the end.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't true. And then when we get reconnected, I find out she did not change her name. That's why we thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at what point did you meet your father?
So it was last year, around February of last year. I was like, no matter what I did in life, I had goals, I would accomplish my goals, but I just always felt an emptiness. It's like something's missing. And for a long time, I ignored it and I just tried to push it down as much as I possibly could, but I couldn't escape it. And so around February of last year, I was just going through just a lot mentally, a lot of changes. And so one day I grabbed a journal and I was just writing in my journal. For whatever reason, I had like a hunger for my father that day. It was like, I wish I had my dad to sit down with and talk to about this kind of thing. So I was just writing in my journal and expressing. It was like I was writing a letter to him and expressing to him how his absence had impacted me. And as I'm writing the letter and I have tears in my eyes, I'm crying, going through so much emotions, and a voice said to me, why don't you go look him up on Google? And for the first time, I grabbed my laptop and I put his name in there and I paid for one of those like services where they like conduct the search for you or whatever. I had never done that before. And a list of like known addresses and phone numbers came up for him and possible family members or whatever. So I went through I called like 10 different numbers. They were all disconnected. And then I saw this one name, this one woman that showed up and they had an email address for her. She didn't have a number, just an email. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll take a chance and email her. So I sent her an email and I was like, hi, my name is Marie-José. I am looking for, my dad or whatever. Your name came up. This is his name. Your name came up as a possible family member. Do you have his contact? This was about 9 p.m. And I sent the email and I took a nap. I woke up, checked my email, completely forgetting about that. I was looking for something else. And there it was. She replied. And I was just in disbelief because you don't know what are the odds of like not only this Haitian woman who's like older generation, right, would even have an email. But secondly, for her to even like actually check her email and keep up with her email
As soon as possible.
to
Yeah.
reply to me. And so I started shaking. So she was like, yes, I do know you. You and my daughter have the same father. Here's my number, call me. And I called her, and she was like, she's Isabel, so my little sister, that's her mom. And she was like, Marie Jose, how are you? I was like, oh, I'm good. She was like, you're not in touch with your father? I'm like, no, I'm not. She's like, don't you remember you used to call here to talk to Isabel? And I was like, oh my God, that's who, wow, you're Isabel's mom.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, your dad's not here though. He's in Haiti. But Isabel has his number. I'll pass your number along to Isabel and have Isabel contact him for him to call you. And then the next day, I woke up. It was around like 11, I think. And I was on a phone call, and then I get this incoming call coming in. It was a number from Haiti. And I'm like, who's calling me from Haiti with this number? I don't recognize this number. Completely forgetting that I'm expecting his call.
Yes.
Because that morning I woke up with anxiety. Like, what have I done? What if he doesn't want to be in my life? You know, you're hearing these voices.
Yeah.
What if, you know, his choice was intentional and he doesn't want you in his life? What if you start to feel this pain and abandonment all over again? And I had severe anxiety. So I completely I'm like, who's calling me from Haiti? I didn't pick up. He called again. I didn't pick up. He called a third time. I didn't pick up.
Yeah.
And then like 30 minutes later, something said, oh my God, that was your dad. And I called back. And when I called back, I was like, hi, I have a missed call from this number. I'm trying to figure out who it is. And he was like, Marie Jose, you don't get my voice? Oh my God. And I just broke down. It was like something in me, I felt like something in my chest just opened up. Not even realizing that it was like stuffed. It just felt like a passage completely opened up.
How do you feel when you...
And I just broke down.
Whenever she was crying on the phone,
Yeah.
I said, no, you have to be happy. You do not have to be sad. Because I was looking for you, you were looking for me, so now we get our contact back, so you have to enjoy. It's not time to cry, it's time to joy, stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, if you want me, so stop crying, let's talk. Because I tell her, you don't know how glad I feel now just to get contact with you, because I was suffering for a very long time. I tell her every day, every night, and then I keep praying God to get my contact back with you, and then God heard my prayer, and then now it's not time to cry. And then she calmed down, we start talking, and then she even asked me some questions to see if I am the right father she was talking about. She asked me a question about her birthday, and when I answered those questions, she get confidence. I am one she was looking for.
Good.
After that, every day we're talking about 3-4 times until I get in the airplane and come to New York, from New York, and then I come to Atlanta. November, I'm with her in Atlanta.
Okay. So, what lesson did you learn from all these things?
What is it?
What lesson did you learn?
Lesson.
From everything that happened between you and your daughter?
The lesson is, to me, I say, this is about the faith. Because if I did not believe in God, I would not get her back. I would not get contact back.
So it is your belief in
It's
God?
my belief in
Yes.
God. So, and she was my first daughter, like I told you. I always loved her at the beginning, and then I will never stop loving her. But incident happened. Maybe she blamed me about the incident.
So from
and
2005 to 2023, you had this faith, unshakable faith, unwavering faith. That one day
you will not believe me, but every day, every morning, every night, I never go to bed without praying God to get contact back with me.
Did you have this kind of prayer?
No.
Yes.
Because you were angry?
Yeah.
I think I got to a point where it was just past anger. It was just complete detachment.
So
Like
what lesson did you
utter
learn from this whole thing?
detachment. The lesson that I would say that I learned is to just keep your heart open. I think a lot of times, and perhaps there's a lot of women that can relate to this, but a lot of times we go through experiences and we allow our experiences to shape who we become, who we choose to become. And so it becomes the experience, the negative experience, then become a part of our identity. And so my identity that I adapted from that point was that of an abandoned girl. That was my
But
identity.
it wasn't you. It was just
And so I think the lesson is to remain open, right? To keep your heart, no matter what it is that you're experiencing, how severe the pain is, pray to God for the strength to keep your heart open.
And I think my advice to you from this whole story is that sometimes in life we make assumptions. And I think one of the reasons why we have this kind of non-existent relationship, just like you said, was because you had this unparalleled assumption that your father abandoned you, that he does not want to talk to you, that he kind of disappeared for some unfounded reason. That was, to me, that was totally an assumption.
No, at the same time, part of that assumption had been from my observation from early ages
Okay.
of not hearing from him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even at times where I would see him, he would pop up. When he did pop up,
Yeah.
I went through years of phone communication or anything like that.
Yeah.
So there was never like consistency.
Yeah.
And so I went off of that.
Yeah.
Right? Going off of that experience. But perhaps what I should have done was allow more time, to, instead of making that decision at the point that I did. And that's another thing.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous sometimes to make decisions, I would say impulsively.
Yeah.
When you're in the midst of the storm, it's not the time to move.
You were so young when you made that decision.
I was so young when I made that decision. Yeah.
And what I think you should have done, because sometimes like what I was saying before about assumption, sometimes you make assumptions, but your father was actually praying to God, actually, like really sincerely praying to God, because he wanted to see you, because he wanted to be in contact with you, But you on your end too, you were assuming or thinking that he doesn't care about you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you had reached out when you were an adult, okay, I understand about the impulsive decision you made when you were young. It's quite understandable. We all do that, right? But at some point in your life, when you became an adult, you should be like, okay, let me try and see if I can reach out to my father. Because there are a lot of people out there, I'm telling you, who doesn't have this relationship with their father, and they are making the same assumption that you made.
Of course.
Without knowing that their father somewhere, wanted to reach out to them, wanted to build a very, good relationship with them. Because circumstantially, people make assumptions and think because of, like you said, something about being inconsistent with communication with your father. That was why, or that was one of the things that made you to, conclude that he doesn't care about you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The same thing is happening out there. So many people out there, they make that conclusion, without reaching out to hear from their father, without reaching out to hear from their mother, without reaching out to hear from people whom they think doesn't care about them. But so many things are going on. Do you understand what I'm saying? So many things. He traveled to Haiti. We need to hear from each other. We need to hear people, side of the story. He traveled to Haiti. The mobile, whatever was not working. He couldn't reach out to you, you couldn't reach out to him. But after some time, I believe when you're an adult, you could have kind of, okay, let me throw it out there. Give it one more try and see if he really cares or not.
Yeah.
So
I'm not that person.
yeah, and a lot of people out there are not, those kind of people.
Yeah.
Those kind of persons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all make assumptions.
I don't chase.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, when it comes to family, you chase. When it comes to family, you chase because this relationship is different from every other relationship out there.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to make an effort. Then after you make an effort, if they are not willing to come into your life or to be with you, that's fine. But you have to make an effort.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is you are together.
Yeah.
And you are so happy. I know, you are so happy.
Yes, now she realized it wasn't my fault. Now I realize it wasn't her fault.
Yeah, exactly. So not your fault.
No, not her fault.
Not her fault.
Yes.
But to an extent, I can say I can blame her to an extent.
You cannot blame me.
No, I
Relax.
will. I will to an
Please,
extent because I believe that.
Don't give me no wahala now.
I'm not giving you wahala. But it's all good.
It was fun disconnection.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time. The discussion was a long time, and he made an effort. You didn't make any effort. You see, I'm blaming you. And the only time you made an effort, you got in touch with him.
Yeah.
The only time you made an effort.
Yeah, less than 24 hours.
Exactly. But his first son made an effort. That's the priest you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So
And you know what's interesting? When we connected, and then he was like, I've been looking for you for years, and Vladimir's been looking for you for years, and we couldn't find you. I didn't believe you. It wasn't until I spoke with the rest of the family, aunties, cousins, they all had the same story. We've been looking for you.
How does your mom feel about this whole
Oh, my mom is very happy. She said that she always knew that when I became ready, I would look for him. She's very, very happy. They've talked, That's another beautiful thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are a lot of healings being done.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm so happy that, everything happens for a reason. We don't know. But the most important thing is you guys reconnected and go back together.
Yeah.
Forever.
And forever. I like that.
Forever and ever.
Yes. Okay, so it's still good to have you guys come on the show to talk about your plights, your predicaments, your experiences. That was a very, I don't know how to classify it, but it was a very bad experience, like in terms of relationship, father and daughter relationship, and this is not a case of he not caring for you. This is a case of disappearance and disconnection.
Disconnection.
Yes.
Yeah, disconnection and reconnection.
Yeah, reconnection. So that's fine. And I'm so happy to have you guys here to talk about your story. And I know some people out there and someone out there is gonna learn and not to make assumptions and try to reach out to people who they think abandon them, who they think don't love them, who they think disappear from them.
I'd say just keep your heart open, remain open to the possibilities, because my heart wasn't open at all. I had completely shut it off and accepted my fate, That's the lesson for me.
Thank you, Mr. Luis. Thank you for
thank you very much.
being on our show.
Yes.
We are so happy to have you. And
thank you very much.
yeah.
I have to tell you thank you.
Thank you. Joseph.
Emma.